Alright guys, the directions on 1 through 4 say determine the degree of the polynomial with the following table of values. So all you're supposed to do on 1 through 4 is determine the degree, okay? So what we need to do is we need to just find not the common difference, but we need to find differences until we get to a common difference. So we need to find the differences between these terms, and remember that it's always the second minus the first. So you can type it in as negative 152 minus a negative 679, or when I know I'm minusing a negative, I just go ahead and type in plus 679, and you get the same thing, okay, because minus a negative is plus. So I know that's 527, negative 25 plus 152 is 127, negative 10 minus a negative 25, so plus 25, so that's 15, negative 11 plus 10 is negative 1, negative 124 plus 11 is negative 113, and negative 637 plus 124 is negative 513. Okay, so we find our first list of differences, and then we keep going until we get to the same. So I've got 127 minus 527, which is of course negative 400. 15 minus 127 is negative 112. Negative 1 minus 15 is negative 16. Negative 113 plus 1, or minus a negative 1, is a negative 112. And negative 513 plus 113 is a positive with negative 400. Negative 513 minus a negative 113. Okay? And now we need to find the next row. We just keep going until we have the same. So, negative 112 plus 400, or minus a negative, is 288. Negative 16 plus 112 is 96. Negative 112 plus 16 is negative 96. And negative 400 plus 112 is negative 288. And this might be the last one. 96 minus 288 is negative 192. Negative 96 minus 96 is negative 192, and negative 288 plus minus a negative 96, or plus 96, is a negative 192. So we count how many differences that took, and I love how I want to slant, but 1, 2, 3, this is the fourth difference, which means this is a quartic. So the degree matches the number of times it takes to find the common number. Okay? So on number 2, do the same thing. So negative 6 plus 18 is 12. 1 minus a negative 6, or 1 plus 6, is, I don't know why I typed that in. 3 minus 1 is 2. 0 minus 3 is negative 3. Negative 8 minus 0 is negative 8. Negative 21 plus 8 is a negative 13. Okay, 7 minus 12 is a negative 5. 2 minus 7 is a negative 5. Negative 3 minus 2 is a negative 5. Negative 8 plus 3 is a negative 5. Negative 13 plus 8 is a negative 5. Making this 1 2 times, this is a quadratic function. Okay? Alright, this next one. Okay, so when it's vertical like this, remember it's always, so this one was second minus first. This is going to be the lower one minus the upper one. So negative 57 minus a negative 404, so plus 404 is 347. 2 minus a negative 57 is 2 plus 57, which is 59. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. 11 minus 0 is 11. 118 minus 11 is 107. And 597 minus 118 is 479. Right? So I've got 59 minus 347 is negative 288. Negative 1 minus 59 is negative 60. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. 11 minus a negative 1, 11 plus 1 is 12. 107 minus 11, so it's 7 and 4 more, so 96. And 479 minus 107 is 372. Alright, the next row. Negative 60 plus 288 is 228. And if at some point things don't work out, then I will check to make sure that I didn't make any mistakes, because that can happen. 0 minus a negative 60 is 0 plus 60, so 60. 12 minus 0 is 12. 96 minus 12 is 84. And 372 minus 96 is 276. Okay. So 60 minus 228 is negative 168. 12 minus 60 is negative 48. Is that right? Yes. 84 minus 12 is a positive 72. And 276 minus 84 is a 192. So then, okay, I've got negative 48 minus a negative 168 is 120. 72 plus 48 is 120. And 192 minus 72 is 120. Okay, good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It took 5 differences, which means this is quintic. Okay. Alright, last one like this, where we're just finding differences. 12 minus 23. 12 minus 23 is negative 11. Because 23 minus 12 is 11, so yeah. Just okay, I don't want to be wrong. 1 minus 12 is negative 11. Interesting. Really? Okay. Negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5. 3 minus a negative 4 is 7. 28 minus 3 is 25. And 77 minus 28 is, so 77, 67, 57, so 49. Okay. Let's see what happens. So negative 11 minus negative 11 is 0. Negative 5 plus 11 is 6. 7 minus a negative 5 is 12. Oh, there we go. 25 minus 7 is 18. And 49 minus 25 is 24. And so I see that there's a difference of 6. So I think I'm good. 6 minus 0 is 6. 12 minus 6 is 6. 6 and 6. So this took 1, 2, 3 times. That means this is a cubic function. Okay, now I need to determine the degree and the equation. So I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I have to take it a step further and find the equation. So once I know what the degree is, I go from there. Okay, so number 5. 28 minus 91 is negative 63. So negative 63. Negative 1 minus 28 is negative 29. Negative 8 minus a negative 1 is negative 7. Negative 5 minus a negative 8 is 3. Negative 4 minus a negative 5 is 1. And negative 17 minus a negative 4 is negative 17 plus 4, which is negative 13. Okay. Negative 29 plus 63 is 34. Negative 7 plus 29 is 22. 3 minus a negative 7 is 3 plus 7, which is 10. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. And Negative 13 minus 1 is negative 14. So I think I see a difference of 12. So 22 minus 34 is a negative 12, 10 minus 22 is negative 12, negative 2 minus 10 is negative 12, and negative 14 plus 2 is negative 12. So this is a 1, 2, 3. It's a cubic function, and I know that in a cubic function, the third difference is always 6a. So the third difference, 6a, is negative 12, which means to me that a is negative 2. So I'm starting out with the cubic function. Y equals, so ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d. So just start with the highest power in the first of the alphabet and work down until you're left with no x's, okay? So I know that a is negative 2. So y equals a negative 2x cubed. I don't know b, and I don't know c, but I do know that the constant d is the y-intercept, which is a negative 8. So I should have put minus 8, but whatever. Okay, I have two unknowns, which means I need to plug in two different points. So I'm going to pick, because they're easiest to me, I'm going to pick the negative 1, and the 1, negative 5. Those are always the easiest. Now, you can pick both positive numbers, and I don't blame you. Plugging in a positive 1 and a positive 2 are pretty easy. I just prefer using the negative 1 and the positive 1 if they're available, because the elimination is so much easier. But you got to be sure that you can plug in negative 1 correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and use this point first. So there's my x and there's my y. They're the same. So y equals negative 1. Okay, when I plug in negative 1 for x, that's negative 1 cubed, and negative 1 cubed is a negative 1. So I've got negative 2 times negative 1, which is positive 2. A negative 1 squared is a positive 1, so plus b. C times negative 1 is a negative c, and then minus 8. So I'm going to combine like terms. I've got 2 minus 8, that's a negative 6. So if I add 6 over, that gives me 5. So 5 equals b minus c. Okay? So I added 2 and negative 8 and got negative 6, and then I added 6 over. Okay. Now I'm going to use the point 1, negative 5. So y is negative 5, and x is 1. So negative 2 times 1 cubed. 1 cubed is just 1, so negative 2. B times 1 squared is b. C times 1 is c. And minus 8. Okay. Now I've got negative 2 minus 8, that's a negative 10, so I add 10 over and I get 5. So negative 2 minus 8 is negative 10, so I add 10 over, negative 5 plus 10 is 5. So then I get b plus c. And this is why I like the 1 and the negative 1, because every time I get a positive b, a negative c, a positive b, and a positive c, all I got to do is add. Okay, so elimination is the idea is to cancel out a variable, and I don't have to do anything for the c's to cancel out. They're gone. Now, 5 plus 5 is 10, but I have a lot of people right here that would accidentally write down b. It's 1b plus 1b, that's 2b. All right? So if I divide by 2, then b equals 5. Now, if b equals 5, then I know this. B plus c equals 5. If 5 plus what equals 5, that's 0. So my final equation is y equals, a was negative 2, so negative 2x cubed. B was 5, so plus 5x squared. C is 0, so that's just gone. And then D is negative 8. So then my final answer is that right there. Okay, let's go to number 6. So first I need to figure out the degree. Okay, 63 minus 121 is a negative 58. 25 minus 63 is a negative 38. 7 minus 25 is a negative 18. 9 minus 7 is 2. 31 minus 9 is 22. I think I'm right. And then 73 minus 31 is 42. I think this is going to be quadratic with a difference of 20. Let's see. Negative 38 plus 58, which I think is minus a negative, so that is 20. Negative 18 plus 38 is 20. 2 minus negative 18 is 2 plus 18, 20, 20, and 20. Which means this is a quadratic function, and in a quadratic, the second difference is always 2a. So 2a equals 20, that means a equals 10. Okay? So in my general quadratic, ax squared, highest power is 2, plus bx plus c, I know a is 10. And I already know the constant because of this right here. So I know that I've got y equals, so far, 10x squared plus bx plus 7. Okay, so the only thing I need to know is what b is. And if I only have one unknown, then I can just, I only have to plug in 1 point to figure it out. So, I'm going to pick the easiest one, 1, 9. So I'm going to plug in x and then y. So y is 9, x is 1, 10 times 1 squared is just 10, plus b times 1, which is b, plus 7. 10 plus 7 is 17. And if I subtract 17 over, then I'm left with 9 minus 17, which is a negative 8. Yeah. Okay. So my final answer is y equals 10x squared minus 8x plus 7. And if I want to make sure, then I go to y equals, let me clear all that, turn off the plot one, 10x squared minus 8x plus 7, and then I go to the table. And I see that at negative 2 I'm at 63, at negative 1 I'm at 25, at 0 I'm at 7, at 1 I'm at 9, I'm good. Okay. So now let's do number 7. Okay, on number 7, I need to find the differences. Okay, 30 minus 72 is a negative 42. 6 minus 30 is a negative 24. 0 minus 6 is a negative 6. 12 minus 0 is 12. 42 minus 12 is 30. And 90 minus 42, 90 minus 42 is 48. I think we have a difference of 18. So negative 22, or negative 24 minus 42, so minus negative 42. So negative 24 plus 42 is 18. Negative 6 plus 24 is 18. 12 plus 6 is 18, 18, and 18, which means this is a quadratic. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. The second difference in a quadratic is always 2a, so 2a equals 18, which means a equals 9. So y equals 9x squared plus bx, and then c is 0, so there's no c. And all I gotta do is plug in 1 point. So I'm gonna use the point 112. So 12 equals 9 times 1 squared, which is 9, plus b times 1, which is b. 12 minus 9 is 3, so my final answer is y equals 9x squared plus 3x. And there we go. Oh, can't see it. Okay, let's go to number 8. So same directions, we're just continuing on. Find the equation after I know. So I've got 47 minus 232 is negative 185. 8 minus 47 is a negative 39. 7 minus 8 is negative 1. 8 minus 7 is 1. 47 minus 8 is 39. And 232 minus 47 is 185. Okay, negative 39 plus 185 is 146. Negative 1 minus a negative 39, so negative 1 plus 39 is 38. 1 minus negative 1 is 1 plus 1, which is 2. 39 minus 1 is 38. And 185 minus 39 is 146. Okay. 38 minus 146 is negative 108. 2 minus 38 is negative 36. 38 minus 2 is positive 36, and 146 minus 38 is 108. And then negative 36 plus 108 is 72. Negative 36 plus 30, oh, just kidding. Negative 36 minus a negative 36 is positive 72 and positive 72, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, it took 4 times, which means it's a quartic. Y equals ax to the fourth plus bx cubed plus cx squared plus dx plus e. Okay, so in a quadratic, the second difference is 2a. In a cubic, the third difference is 6a. In a quartic, the fourth difference is 24a. So 24a equals 72, divide by 24, and I get 3. Okay, and the constant is 7. So I know this so far. Y equals 3x to the fourth plus bx cubed plus cx squared plus dx plus 7. Okay, there are 3 unknowns, and with quartic, I'm okay with you using the matrices, but I do need to see where you come up with the 3 equations, okay? If I have 3 unknowns, I need 3 points plugged in. So I'm going to use negative 1, 8, 1, 8, and 247. So first off, negative 1, 8. So 8 is y, and negative 1 is x. Negative 1 to the fourth power, it's an even power, so that's positive. So 3 times 1 is 3, plus, well, I shouldn't have done that. Oh well. I'll fix it. Negative 1 cubed, when I plug in negative 1 there, negative 1 cubed is negative 1 because it's odd, so negative 1 times b is negative b. Negative 1 squared is a positive, so that is c times 1, so plus c. D times negative 1 is negative d, and then plus 7. Okay, so combine the constants and move. So 3 plus 7 is 10, subtract 10 over, and I'm left with negative 2. So I've got negative b plus c minus d equals a negative 2. Now, I could, if I wanted to, put b minus c plus d equals a positive 2. Just divide everything by negative, but there's no reason to. Just leave it as it is. Okay, now I'm going to plug in the point 1, 8. So it's going to look very similar. The y value is 8, the x value is 1. So if I plug in 1, 1 to the fourth is 1 times 3 is 3, plus b times 1, plus c times 1, plus d times 1, plus 7. 3 plus 7, again, is 10, subtract it over, and I'm left with negative 2. So I've got b plus c plus d equals a negative 2. Alright, one more. We're going to use the point 247, so 247, so 47 is y and x is 2. 2 to the fourth is 16, and 16 times 3 is 48. So I've got 3 times 2 to the fourth, which is 48. And I'm going to make sure. Okay. 2 cubed is 8, so plus 8b. 2 squared is 4, so plus 4c. And then plus 2 times d, and then plus 7. Alright, 48 plus 7 is 55, so then I subtract 55 over. Or I can think of it as, if I subtract 48 over, then I could say it's negative 1 and then subtract 7, I get negative 8. Or you can subtract 7 and get 40, and then subtract 48, so you got 40 minus 48 is negative 8. Either way, you get 8b plus 4c plus 2d equals a negative 8. Okay, I want you to write down the matrix that you're going to be entering into the calculator. So I know that that's what you're doing. So the matrix that I'm going to enter into the calculator, I don't know why I made that so big, is negative 1, 1, negative 1, and negative 2. So the coefficients always need to be on the, so the equal sign, I don't care if you put your equal sign here, but the coefficients need to go first, and then the constant at the end, okay? So then I've got 1, 1, 1, negative 2, 8, 4, 2, negative 8. Okay, I need to see that, and then you'll write your answer, well, as the function. So what we're going to do is we're going to do Roeder's echelon form, in the calculator. So second matrix over to math, up to RREF, alpha zoom. It is a 3-row by 4-column. So 3 rows, 4 columns, and then I enter. -1, 1, -1, -2, 1, 1, 1, -2, 8, 4, 2, -8. Oh, crap. Okay, and what that tells me is that, so we've got B, C, and D, right? That means 1B equals 0, so B equals 0, C equals -2, and D equals 0. So in my final equation, so I'm going to use that up there, y equals 3x to the 4th, b is 0, so that's gone, minus 2x squared, and then d is 0, so that's gone, and then plus 7. And that is my final answer. If I want to check, I would type it in and see if the y values were good. Okay? So last one of this type, number 9. Okay. So I need to find my differences. -6 minus a -12 is -6 plus 12, so 6. 4 minus, so that's 10. 12 minus 4 is 8. 12 minus 12 is 0. -2 minus 12 is -14. -36 plus 2 is -34. -10 minus 6 is 4. 8 minus 10 is -2. 0 minus 8 is -8. -14 minus 0 is -14, and -34 minus -14 is -20. -2 minus 4 is a -6. -8 minus a -2 is a -6. -6 and -6. So this is a 1, 2, 3. It's a cubic function, and in a cubic function, the leading coefficient is, well, the third difference is 6a, so 6a equals a -6, which means a equals a -1. Okay, so in my y equals ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d, I know a is -1. I don't know b, I don't know c, but I do know the constant is 12. Okay, so I need to plug in 2 different points. Now, like I said, I like to use -1, but I've already modeled that, so I'm going to go ahead and use the points 1, 12 and 2, -2, just in case you prefer doing that. So let's use the point 1, 12. So 12 equals -1 times 1 cubed is just -1, plus b times 1 squared is b, plus c times 1 is c, plus 12. So -1 plus 12 is 11, and if I subtract 11, I get 1. So I've got, I'll put it right here, b plus c equals, what did I say, 1? Yeah. Alright, now we're going to use the point 2, -2. So x is 2, y is -2. So I've got -2 equals, I'm going to plug in 2, so -1 times 2 cubed, -1 times 8 is -8, plus b times 2 squared, so 4b, plus c times 2, so 2c, plus 12. -8 plus 12 is 4, and if I subtract 4 over, I get -6. So I've got 4b plus 2c equals a -6. I ran out of room. -6. Okay. Now, you might notice that this equation is all even, so you could divide by 2, but if you don't, that's okay. What I could do is multiply the top equation by a -2 and move it down here, so that becomes -2b minus 2c equals a -2, and then add. 4b minus 2b is 2b, c's cancel out, -6 and -2 is a -8. Divide by 2 and I get b equals a -4. And then go back to that equation right there. b plus c equals 1, and b is a -4. So if I add 4 over, I get c equals 5. Okay, so final answer, y equals negative 1x cubed, or just negative, oh, that was terrible, x cubed. B is negative 4, so minus 4x squared. C is 5, so plus 5x, and D is a constant 12. And there we go. That's lovely. Okay. So I have a few more minutes, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the polynomial naming and the in behavior. Okay, so the 4 things you need to remember, well, besides naming, just the in behavior things, is that you've got 4 different options. The in behaviors either go up, up, down, 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 up, or up, down. Okay? Even functions do the same thing. If it's positive, they go up. If it's negative, they go down. Odd functions go opposite. If it's positive, they in general go up. If it's negative, they in general go down. Start from above and go below. Okay? So as far as naming goes, I look for the highest degree. The highest degree is 4. So the degree is 4, and the leading coefficient is negative, because it's the negative 6th. So I've got an even function with a negative leading coefficient, which to me means down, down. So I'm going to write it as, I guess I jumped straight. Instead I was going to name, and then I would jump straight into whatever. In behavior. Let me just go ahead and write it then. Okay, this is the base. This never changes. Okay, this is what you're answering every single time. Now, because it's an even function, you could combine it and say plus and minus infinity, because they're both going to negative infinity. But either write them separately or write them together. So in either case, because it's an even with a negative leading coefficient, they go down, down. So when I go to the left, when x goes to negative infinity, the function is going down to negative infinity. And when x goes to positive infinity, the function is going down to negative infinity. As far as the name goes, the degree is 4, and there are 2 terms. So I've got a 4th degree, which is quartic. So it is a quartic, and then 2 terms binomial. Okay? Number 11. Look for the highest degree. The highest degree I see is a 5. So the highest degree I see is 5, so degree equals 5. And the leading coefficient is positive. Okay, let's go ahead and name it. It's a degree of 5, which is a quintic. So quintic, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. So quintic poly with 4 terms is the name. And the in behavior. Limit as x approaches negative infinity, and the limit as x approaches positive infinity. Okay. It's an odd, which means opposite, and it's positive, which means going up. So I start from below and I end up. Okay? So if it's a degree that is odd and the leading coefficient is positive, in general it goes up. Starts from below and goes up. So it means as I go to the left, I go down to negative infinity, and as I go to the right, I go up to positive infinity. Let me just write those right quick in a different color. As I go left, I go down. As I go right, I go up. And that's what that's saying. Okay. Number 12. The name, it is a power of 3, which is a cubic, and there's only 1 term, so it's a cubic monomial. Okay? It is an odd. The degree is odd, and the leading coefficient is, well, there's only 1, and it's negative. So if I've got an odd negative, then odd negatives, odds go in opposite, but negatives start from above and end down below. So, limit as x approaches negative infinity, and limit as x approaches positive infinity. As I go to the left, the function is going up. As I go to the right, the function is going down. Okay. The number 13, it is, the highest power is 2, which means it's a quadratic. And there are 3 terms, so trinomial. Okay, and then the degree is 2, which is even, and the leading coefficient is positive 8, which is positive, so even positive. Even positives go up, up. So the limit, and I'm going to go ahead and combine these because they're the same, to positive and negative infinity of the function y is, so in either case they go up, so left I go up and right I go up, so that means they're both positive infinity. So evens you can combine if you want, or you can do them separately. I don't really care, as long as they're wrong. Okay, so the last one of this section, you look for the highest degree, and the highest degree I see is 7, which is odd, so the degree is 7. And the leading coefficient is the number in front of it, which is a negative 7, is negative. So it's an odd negative, which means to me, in behavior-wise, they go in opposite directions. That's increasing, that's decreasing, so since it's that, I go negative. Okay, so let me go ahead and do the limits. Limit as x approaches negative infinity, and limit as x approaches positive infinity. When we go left, the function is going up, so positive, and when we go right, the function is going down, so negative. Okay, and then the name, it is a power of 7 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 terms. So polynomial, or poly, of degree 7 with 7 terms. And there we go. Okay, so that's it on the first 2 pages.